Windle is about providing quality education. The founder, who is Windle, he was Hugh Windle Pickleton, founded the organization in 1977. And he did this after interacting with the first refugees who came from Ethiopia. He was teaching at the Nairobi University in the Department of Philosophy, and that's how he first met the refugees. And he discovered at that point that the refugees, apart from getting the support for their basic needs, there was a need to provide them with quality education. And at that time, the greatest need that the refugees had was the need for higher education. So the first cohort of refugees that was supported by Windle himself directly were at higher level of education, so providing them with scholarships to study in universities in Kenya and in other parts of the world. Duffy is, initially, it was fully funded by the German government in support of Albert Einstein. He was a refugee himself, and that's how like a way of showing appreciation. He was originally from Germany, and that's how the idea of the scholarship was named after him. Mm-hmm. So for many years, the German government provided the resources required to support fellow refugees, if we can use that word, who are like in Albert Einstein's fate, and they needed support to access higher education. UNHCR was the recipient of the grant for the Duffy scholarship from the German government. And as you know, most of the time UNHCR does not do direct implementation of most of their programs. They work through partners. And Windle, which happens to have been an education organization, providing scholarship, so the mandate in that space for providing education in higher levels and through scholarship, and the idea from UNHCR, they want to support refugees. So the two organizations had something in common. Yeah. So it was easy for us then to come together because we had something that was shared. It's sort of like a shared mission, a vision, to provide education at higher levels for the people who are displaced, the refugees. The program works through advertisement. So we advertise. So when the opportunities are given or the funding is available, that's how it starts. So the funding is available, and then we get the number of students that we can support per year. And then we do a competitive advert so that we select the students who need to fit into the criteria that is set for the students. Of course, there are many students because, for example, in an average year, if we advertise, you get more than 1,000 students who qualify really to access the scholarship, but then the slots sometimes are limited because of funding. So then they are selected, and the selection is done by a panel. We don't just do that on our own. So we have a team from Windle, we have a team from UNHCR, we have a team from other education partners, so that then we are selecting the best students and the most needy. Because the scholarship is not just a scholarship for refugees. It's for, you're a refugee, yes, but at the same time you need to be vulnerable. So if you fit that criteria and then the other requirements are cleared, then you're most likely going to get selected for the Duffy scholarship. Currently we have 694 students, and they are in 34 different institutions in Kenya. That means we work closely with almost every university and education institution that is providing higher education in Kenya, which is fantastic because it means that the students experience something different than what they know from the refugee camps. The ideal situation would be that we don't have conflict. Then we don't have people living in the refugee camps, that we are able to provide the same education, but not under the refugee setting, right? Because also you will notice that even in Kenya, without the refugees, there are those communities that are marginalized, that they are hard to reach areas. So education needs to be provided there. And then maybe in terms of what would African governments also do, to support education, is enabling the environment for refugees to access education in the national systems, so that we do not have resources going to the refugee camps because it's refugee education in that space, but be able to say there is a school in that region. Can the children then access that school? Do they have to be treated differently and so on? That could help. And I think that's one of the advantages that we have when we send the MOUs with the institution of higher learning, because then they are able to look at the students that we sponsor as national students. They do not need to pay additional fee as international student, and that helps because it means for every one student who would have supported as an international student, we are able to support too. We are grateful first to the government of Kenya, because without their support, the refugees wouldn't be having a safe space in the refugee camps. Then we do also thank the Duffy supporters, because it's with their funding that we are able to provide that scholarship to the people of concern who need it. And of course, we appreciate UNHCR for selecting us as their implementing partner for more than a decade. And it's not only here in Kenya, but also in Somalia and Uganda and Sudan. So that means they have a lot of trust in the way we do things. So we are very grateful for that support that we have received over the years from UNHCR. And of course, as I said, we do need more funders to come on board to support the students, because it's not that we are short of quality and qualified students. They are there, but we are not able to pick everyone because we do not have enough resources. Thank you.